Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another walk and talk. We are again just going for a bit of a walk, taking the camera with us, and we're going to be talking a little bit about crypto, what's going on and all that kind of stuff. Now today's video, the subject is going to be 3 altcoins that I think are going to perform incredibly well. And we kind of did a video like this a few days ago, and there's just so many altcoins, right? So I wanted to talk about 3 other altcoins that I think are going to do well, that are not the 3 that I talked about before, which I still think are going to do insanely well. But as we kind of build out portfolios, we want to kind of have a bit of a diverse portfolio. We want to make sure that we have exposure to, a few different assets. Now, my portfolio is getting some traction to it. It is probably a tad too large for the kind of normal everyday person to kind of manage, but nonetheless I'm going to talk about projects that I think are worth investing in and have some future potential. Now the 3 altcoins today, I am invested in them, and yeah, I think they're going to do very, very well. So I'm going to give you kind of my price expectations on all 3 of them as we get into the video. So as I get into it, if you found it useful, informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you are new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. So let's talk about altcoin number 1, which, for the most part, I don't think you'll be too surprised about. It is Avalanche's AVAX token. Now, AVAX, from a technological point of view, is very, very good. If you haven't read the white paper, I do encourage you guys to check that out. It has some really good tech. Now, outside of the technology side, there's obviously a wild amount of speculation that people do on, altcoins and crypto in general. And that's kind of where I find the most interest in AVAX at the moment. The technology is great. I think the technology will continue to do very, very well. But we have to acknowledge that the market at the moment is very much just based on speculation. And, well, the future of cryptocurrency is still in the balance as to whether or not the technology gets adopted worldwide, which I do think it will. Web3 is building an adoption curve, and it is going to get bigger and bigger. But AVAX, from a speculative point of view, did very, very well in the previous bull market, but I think it's going to do even better this time around. We've seen the bear market bring AVAX down quite nicely. Total value locked also dropped down quite nicely, but it's still pretty sizable nonetheless. Now, I think AVAX can be a very, very lucrative investment. I think we're still going to potentially drop down lower than $10 once again on the low side, but I do see the potential here for AVAX to 10x on its previous all-time high, which was about $150. So I'm talking about $1,500 AVAX per token, right? And I think that might sound like real hopium, might sound unrealistic. I think this next bullish market, though, is going to be something totally different that we've never seen before, with a significant amount of new money, fresh eyes on the space kind of coming on in, is going to potentially lead many of these altcoins to some astonishing high levels. And I think AVAX is going to be one of those. Now, don't get me wrong, $1,500 sounds crazy, right? But I think it could even potentially push up towards $5,000. That's not to say that it is going to. We see the technicals basically mapping out a path, a way that we could get there. This isn't to say that it's going to happen, but it is an interesting kind of point nonetheless. And so $1,500, we'll see how things kind of play out. It is kind of a nice expectation on AVAX. It might not do that, it might fall a little bit short, but for the most part, I think we're going to see some pretty good growth on AVAX. So that's altcoin number 1. It's one I've invested in. It's one I'm going to continue to kind of build positions in if I can. And of course, if that price does come down to those kind of low ranges that I'm expecting them to. So altcoin number 2, a little bit less known, I guess. One altcoin that I guess we saw a lot of growth in early 2023 for, and we've been an advocate for this project for a number of years. Way back in 2020, we were talking about this and investing in this particular protocol. And while it's done phenomenally well so far, I still expect much further to the upside overall. Okay, so I'm expecting AVAX to do well, and I'm expecting AGIX to do very well as well. Now, AGIX is an AI-based project. It's done incredibly well so far, and I expect it to do very well going forward as well. Now, we were buying AVAX back in 2020 and all the way through to 2022, where we saw the price come down towards like 3.5 cent, and we were accumulating quite heavily. And we obviously saw it move up towards 66 cent earlier this year. Fantastic gains. Now I'm expecting AGIX to continue to pull back a little bit, and in doing so we're going to have another accumulative phase there, and I'm expecting the potential for the next bull market on AGIX to do it phenomenally well, where I expect us to kind of see AVAX move, or AGIX move up. Just see if I can get through here. Yeah, AGIX to move up towards kind of that $5 level. Now that's really muddy. See if I can just loop around here. So yeah, so we have some pretty decent kind of levels kind of being predicted out on AGIX, and I expect that to kind of actually be quite conservative. Considering how fast we went in early 2023, I expect to see AGIX kind of move up quite nicely towards that $5 target reasonably quickly. So that might be really conservative. We might actually exceed that. But for me, that's kind of a nice range to be aiming for on SingularityNet and the AGIX token. Okay. Now, obviously, there's a lot of spin-off projects when it comes to Singularity. Obviously, we're invested in most of those, whether they are, you know, 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗔𝗥𝗘, 𝗕𝗔𝗪, 𝗕𝗑𝗪, just to name a few, right? There's quite a few. But I do think that the native token of AGIX as being like the key component to the entire ecosystem of all the other projects, I think it's going to do very, very well. So AGIX, I think, is going to do well. That's the second altcoin alongside Avalanche. Then, of course, we have the third project. And the third project is one that might split opinions a little bit. You're going to like it or you're going to hate it. I think it's going to do very, very well for a couple of different reasons, right? So what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about Sandbox. Sandbox has the potential, in my opinion, to do very, very well. And it splits opinions because it's not that AAA kind of graphics that I guess some people really are kind of looking for. However, when you take a look at Sandbox and its kind of boxy element, it just reminds me of Minecraft. And for those who do not know, Minecraft is the world's most popular game, and it's not a new game by any stretch of the imagination either. It's been around for well over 10 years, and it still remains at the top spot, right? And it's for a reason, right? It's not got AAA graphics. It's not anything like that. It's a boxy game where you're basically, you know, mining blocks and building things with those blocks. It's quite basic in a lot of respects, right? But it's a very good game, and a game that has obviously captured the world's attention. And you know, it's the world's best-selling game for a very long time. Hasn't been beaten. In fact, I think the only claim that gets close is Grand Theft Auto, and it doesn't even get close to the sales that Minecraft has had. So Sandbox just reminds me a lot of Minecraft. It's not to say that it is Minecraft. It's very different. It can be a little bit expensive to build and develop on Sandbox for sure. But at the same time, I still think it's going to do very, very well. It has that kind of mass appeal to it straight out of the box, if you understand what I mean. Now, in terms of price action, I think Sandbox is going to, again, do some really strong moves in that next bullish market that, again, might surprise quite a few people. So we can obviously see that Sandbox did well in the previous market, but I'm expecting Sandbox to kind of move up towards that $200 level. Now, again, it's no guarantees in this space. You know, we talk about these numbers because we can see them in the technicals and the charts. It doesn't mean that they're going to happen. But in terms of trying to aim for something in the next bullish market, yeah, I can see Sandbox doing some pretty decent numbers. And of course, you know, we'll have better targets when the bull market does come into full swing, and we'll be able to kind of predict out where reversals are likely to be. But looking at the market right now, looking at kind of the performance previously, yeah, I think Sandbox could potentially do $200. And I think that's going to perform very, very well. So in terms of like the three altcoins in today's video, I think Avalanche is very much well positioned from DeFi. Its technology is phenomenal, and I think it's going to perform very, very well. We have AGIX, SingularityNet, I think will do very, very well as well. Obviously, there's the AI narrative behind it, and being kind of like the center of all of these ecosystems, so 𝗕𝗪𝗪, Hypercycle, Singularity DAO, and so forth, I think really does set itself up for success in that next bullish market as well. So I do think that Singularity Net is going to perform well, and of course Sandbox, as I was just saying. So let me know what your thoughts are on these three altcoins in the comments down below. Do you agree with me with these three altcoins performing well in the next bullish market, or do you have three different altcoins that you think will outperform these three? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'm going to wrap this video up right there. And if you have found it useful, informative, maybe even entertaining, as I try to work my way through all of that mud, then go ahead and smash that like button. I really do appreciate that. And if you are new to the channel, subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that you do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, check it out. Link is in the description below. Until the next one though, guys, have a fantastic day.